Good evening. Good evening to you guys out there. Facebook that are joining me on Facebook and YouTube. That is Slicky B, and I'm Sonny, otherwise known as Cold Coffee, the name of our show, of course. We have a really beautiful show for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about a subject we haven't talked about. I think we're going to get into really deep detail because it's really dear to me. But before we get into all that, come on, y'all. Y'all gotta have to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Cold Coffee. And Hank Aaron home run hit that. Hank Aaron home run hit that like button because you know how we do it here in this Cold Coffee. And of course, y'all know our name, Cold Coffee. We're here and we're gonna do it. And we have a really, really beautiful show tonight. But before I begin, I want to ask you how you're doing, Slicky B.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
A little bit of Thanksgiving excitement inside of me, but I'm ready for it, man. How about you? You ready for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite holidays, actually.
Okay, before we start, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish? Or
Turkey.
for real, I would have thought maybe pecan pie or something.
Well, apple pie is the bomb. But I'd have to say turkey number one, apple pie number two. And
I'm gonna go
potatoes
with pumpkin pie.
definitely three. I never was too into pumpkin pie, but I've had some, that's pretty good. It's just never been my favorite.
Turkey, but have you ever eaten deep fried turkey?
Yes, I have.
I heard really good. But our show is a really special show. We're gonna be talking about addiction, and right now there's a lot of it in our country and in the state of Alaska, and um, I think we need to put more awareness about it out there so people know that people that are struggling with addiction are not alone. And first of foremost, the addiction that we're going to talk about is fentanyl. And fentanyl deaths in our country are rising, bro. It's a scary sight. Fentanyl is one of those. It's becoming the drug. You know what I mean? It's becoming the drug of choice. And the crazy thing is, it's our younger generation that are really into it. And
the other problem with that is they use fentanyl in everything now. Like, for instance, if you go and buy heroin or cocaine,
coke,
there's fentanyl. Chances are there's fentanyl in it. And that's the thing that, there's a lot of people that don't know, that they're not aware of the fact that they're using fentanyl. And so I would say that that's probably at least half the people that have had problems with it. That's not based on anything but an educated guess, but it's got to be some kind of big portion of a number for sure, because they use it in everything, man. And they disguise it. They know what they're doing. It's pretty scary. I'm glad.
Scary, and
I'm really glad I wasn't, in my teens when all this stuff was around, and heroin was a pretty big thing right after I graduated high school, and I never was a part of it, thank God. But
did any of your friends struggle with heroin?
Huh?
Did any of your friends struggle with that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I knew somebody not that long ago that struggled with it all the time, and it's like, it's sad to see, because he was one of the coolest people you'd ever want to see or meet in your life, and it just took him away slowly but surely. And he was functional, and I had my own battles with alcohol, as you know. I was a functional alcoholic. I went to work every day. drunk every day.
We'll get into that in a little bit, bro. Get into that in a little bit, bro. But people want to know what is fentanyl. Well, fentanyl, it's a synthetic opioid, a legal prescription pain medication. Fentanyl was first used back in 1959, bro. It was used to help cancer patients, with pain from radiation and all that stuff. So it's not like it's just like come around. It's been around for a while. People just drug cartels and people, drug addicts, drug dealers finally figured out, hey, there's all these synthetic substances we can put in these drugs to make our drugs a little bit more powerful. They know the drug addicts want the most powerful stuff, and if you produce the most powerful stuff, they're gonna want to come back to you and get it from you, because when you get addicted to something and then you want something else because you use that for so long, and then you're looking for something else because it's not doing the job anymore. And that's how getting into drugs and experimenting with other types of drugs, you're gonna want that powerful next one up. If you're gonna want more of it, and that's what happens. Is say like someone who just started smoking weed, a couple of years, maybe a year, and then they finally get tired of it. Like, I wanted something else. Their friends introduce them to like meth or cocaine, and it's fixed with fentanyl. They hit that, they gonna feel good because it's powerful and it's cheap, but it hits every note. Like, especially like if they know how to put it in and put the right amount into where you just feel like the feeling, man, they're gonna come back for more and more and more and more and more. Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot. If you were a drug dealer, would you put fentanyl in your drugs?
Hell no.
Be honest now. Come on.
That's a big hell no.
Well, at least you're honest about that. But I wouldn't either, because
if you asked me if I was a drug dealer, I personally, if I was, I still would be me. So hell no would I do that, because I wouldn't even want to be. I'd probably retire.
Okay, how about this then?
Some of my supplies might come up missing, but I'd probably retire.
How about this? Why do you think drug dealers put fentanyl in their substances?
Cheap.
Like this cocaine,
it's cheap,
meth,
and they could
opioid.
They could get a big effect, as you said, for little cost. So it's cheap, and it's effective, and it's lethal in very small doses for many people.
I mean, there's been so many people that don't even know how deadly this. It's pretty much a poison, really. Like, people don't realize.
Especially when they don't realize that they're using it. Like if it's cut into cocaine, or I don't know enough about the stuff to tell you exactly what or how they do it, but yeah, anything. If it's cut into anything, heroin, I know they put it in heroin and all different stuff. So, heroin's bad enough, but if you don't know what ratio to use fentanyl, and you're used to just, I'm sure there's a science to it, because when you're shooting up with a needle, I'm sure it's pretty easy to OD if you don't have a clue at all what you're doing.
Okay, hold that thought. Do you know personally anyone that has OD'd off of heroin or fentanyl?
No, heroin, yeah. Somebody I grew up with did.
So do I.
But fentanyl, But fentanyl, no. And that's only because, I don't know anyone that would be into like using drugs and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's a little different now.
Yeah. Now,
when I was growing,
No, go ahead.
When I was growing up in high school, we all partied and stuff. So, you knew of stuff. But Now I don't really, fall into that crowd anymore.
Yeah, I personally don't know much about it, but from reading about it and investigating it, and that it's really deadly in small doses as well. You know,
Yeah.
the reason why drug dealers use it now is because it's cheap and it's more powerful than naturally derived opioids like heroin, meth, or cocaine. People lace the stuff with fentanyl. It's going to be make it that much times about how drug addicts like the feeling. But if they put fentanyl, they like it like 100 times more. You see what I mean? And that's why they're
Yeah.
using it. 'Cause it's cheap. It's really, really cheap. And it, like, if you're cutting a pound of cocaine or something, and you could actually add value because drug dealers weigh all their stuff, and then you take a little fentanyl and replace it. That gives you more value of cocaine that you can sell, like it, because you don't have to sell as much because it's powerful. Like drug dealers, like if I was a cocaine dealer and I was really greedy and a big cartel, I'd want to preserve as much drug that I can so I can make more money with using less, and that's how they do it. They use less money, they save money, they have more drugs to sell, but it's more lethal and it's more drug dealers like don't realize what they're doing. They're
Oh,
actually,
yes, they do. Especially the
I mean,
Mexican
as far as
cartel.
killing people. Oh, we're going to get
It's
into that, but I'm saying as far as killing people.
yeah.
But 1,000 deaths information that I got from the CDC, the majority of those deaths were fentanyl related. 100,000 deaths this year, or in the last, I think it was 3 years. But
Well,
that's just
there's been a massive surge the last not even year. I mean, it's been massive, 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 and there's a really good reason for that. When you have a wide open border
yeah.
policy and your president's a moron, I mean, the cartels are having a field day right now, man. The border patrol is totally tied up. They're totally overwhelmed. I mean, they are coming across the borders with so much fentanyl, drugs, whatever the hell they want right now. I mean, it's a free for all right
Because the
now.
borders are open.
Exactly, and there's people that are boarded up in their houses because they're on these fucking mask mandates and all this other fake ass bullshit. And the government's paying them checks to stay home because God forbid if you go outside you're gonna die from COVID. Go get your 59th booster shot. I mean,
How about this one?
it's a fake world, and all of this is created by these ridiculous fucking policies. Honestly, that is the biggest reason we're having this problem with fentanyl right now. And yeah, primarily manufactured in China, then smuggled here from Mexico, of course. That's all we need.
Fentanyl.
China and Mexico to collude.
Fentanyl is primarily manufactured in China. That's crazy. I was blown away. I was like, "I'm gonna have a field day with this one," talking about like that.
China. Well, it's manufactured in China. It's sold cheap to Mexico, and then the cartels make freaking millions upon millions upon millions upon freaking millions. I'm talking hundreds of millions. It's ridiculous how much money they have made in the last 6 freaking months, bro. I mean, it's insane. It's insane, man.
Which then sends it to the raw ingredients called precursors on cargo ships to Mexico from China.
Yeah, those shipments are getting through. Yeah.
And
it's like
after that, After that, then next thing you know, cartels finish making the product. Cartels, Mexican cartels. They're the ones making all the money.
They're
making all
they're
the
gonna
money.
if they aren't already, that's the biggest threat, imminent threat to the United States of America. The Mexican cartel have no mercy. They're no different from the radical Islamics, and I mean, absolutely, they have no freaking remorse with death, anything. They could give a shit. They will just kill as many people as they want, the brutalest way possible, just to set an example. I mean, it's disgusting, bro. It's worse than any kind of mafia you've ever seen or heard about. It's fucking brutal.
Yeah, I know that. And I just think that it's not going to get any better. It's going to get actually worse. I think more people are going to get addicted to it because it's a drug of choice now, and more people are going to struggle with addiction because of it. And opioid and fentanyl overdose are just going to continue to skyrocket, especially in the times that we're going through right now in our country. And, you know, a lot of people that are hurting and stressed and, you know, probably depressed, you know, they're going to look for the highest potent drug out there. And right now it's fentanyl, it's opioids, it's meth, it's cocaine. Cocaine is nothing anymore. Cocaine is nothing anymore. It's meth, fentanyl, and opioids. I even forgot about to mention crack. Crack's nothing now. They're all of them are lacing it with fentanyl now, bro.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's going to get worse before it's going to get better. Now, okay, so how do we stop? How do we stop it? How do we stop it? How do we slow the trend? How do we stop our young kids? Stop our young kids from using and finding all these drugs?
I'll tell you right now how you fucking stop it. You stop being ridiculously fucking ignorant at the Mexican border. Period. You shore it up, and you freaking finish the fucking wall.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Do you think those guys get paid?
Listen, it's all connected, man. That's what the problem is. That's why I told you, no matter what problem we're discussing on this shit, it all points to freaking Biden and his policies. It's that simple. You want to stop fentanyl from pouring in and getting worse? Fucking go back to the Trump policies at the border. It was the most secure. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous, man. We can talk about gasoline prices tomorrow. It still goes back to your fucking president.
Of course, everything is going back on. We're talking about fentanyl, bro.
I know. But it goes right back to the president and the ridiculous freaking policies. And yeah, it's fentanyl. But I'm telling you right now, it's the fucking border. It's the border and the fucking wide open everything at the border. And so I do not give a shit about America. Let the border be open, because I don't want to be called a racist or no, here it is. Right now they're trying to sign a bill so that they can all vote. All the ones that they're letting in right now. They want them to vote. That's why that they wanted this from the beginning. And they want everyone to go broke, so we're relying on the government 100%. And I know this isn't the topic at the moment, bro, but it all stems to it. And that's what's just like,
of course.
Really, it just gets under my skin. It gets under my skin that no matter what topic we're talking about, it seriously goes to the fucking administration right now. It is just ridiculous.
And our young kids are dying because of it.
Yeah, and they do not give a shit. When Donald Trump had opiates the fucking lowest ever. Okay, whether you voted for him or not, he freaking had, the border was stout, and it was getting better by the day. So, I mean, he did things that made sense. Some people might not have liked his, the way he talked, the way he walked, whatever it is, tweeted. But the bottom line is, almost every policy the man had fucking worked. And it worked for us Americans, lower to middle class. That's who it targeted, and it fucking worked. And he was right when he told the black voters, hey, what do you have to lose? Vote for me. And he was right. And he got a lot of those votes. And they all benefited from that, from all of his policies. And now, I mean, shit, dude, we were an energy powerhouse. We were exporting energy. Now we're begging OPEC to freaking pump more oil in freaking Arabia and shit. When we're sitting on a shit ton, you're sitting on a shit ton. We're just not allowed to pump it here. Give me one fucking reason why. I know we're not talking about gasoline, but it's my fucking point. It all stems back to this crazy bullshit administration ruining America. And I'm not exaggerating. It's what's happening right in front of us every fucking day, man. Our Second Amendment, First Amendment. I mean, you name it. It's just, it does not stop. It's fucking relentless. And we have a bunch of pussy-ass Republicans that don't stand up. It's just ridiculous. If they sign this bill, America's toast, dude. They're done. When you know, what are you gonna do? I mean, you're gonna have no choice but to rely on them. Everyone can't just go in their backyard like Alaska and freaking live off the land. I mean, these people are stacked upon stacks in fucking little cities and shit. They have no idea what it's like to fend for themselves. Shit's gonna get ugly at some point, man. It is. I just know it is. I've always said before my lifetime is over, shit's gonna go down. Whether it's a simple solar flare, which could shut down every grid we know, the freaking polarity could be reversed. Yeah, I mean, no batteries would work. I mean, dude, shit could hit the fan in a flick of a coin. A volcanic eruption. Everyone's worried about climate change. If we have a big enough volcanic eruption, which is long overdue, we're going into an ice age. All right, bro. I'm going to let you get back to your topic. I'm sorry I took a left and then a right and then I went through an intersection and yeah. I'm sorry. Get back to your topic, bro.
It's always good to take a detour. I don't mind. It's all good. Hey, gotta get your 2-minute venting. I'm glad you got that out of your system. But the next one I want to talk about that we're going to talk about is something that we know very, very well. I know very well, and you know very well. We're talking about alcohol.
Alcohol.
The number for alcohol-related deaths every year, 95,000 people. 95,000 people a year die in some way, shape, or form from alcohol. Some way, shape, or form. There's a lot of ways you could die from alcohol. Accidents, homicides, suicides, car accidents, falling, freezing in the snow, overdosing. Yeah, you could die from alcohol poisoning, binge drinking. You could die from failed liver. Liver failure is another one. But every year, 95,000 people died because of alcohol. That's 95,000 people we could save. But we can't. And that's annually. That's like almost half the population of Anchorage, if I'm not mistaken. That's a lot of people in our country that die from the use of alcohol in some way, shape, or form a year. And, you know, I personally know a lot of people that lost their lives because of this drug called alcohol. And, you know, I have family that buried because of this damn drink. I got family that have died from it, and I've known people that have accidents and died from it. I know people that drank too much where their body shut down and they died from it. I know people that got murdered because of it, and it's a shame. And I live in Alaska, but I'm like I'm just shocked at the way alcohol is, and I mean, they don't think it's a problem. Like, could you imagine if they made alcohol illegal? Could you imagine what that would be like, bro?
Yeah. I don't think they should make alcohol illegal.
No, I don't think they never will, but I'm just saying, could you imagine what this country would do?
They would just
want to be smuggling alcohol. Yeah, bootleg.
Think about how many people smoke marijuana and it's still not legal in many states, or go back before the legalization of it. And dude, millions upon millions of people smoke marijuana. So,
bro, I forgot to ask you. I know we're off topic a bit, but ever since marijuana legal in most states in America, you know what happened? What I noticed, the drugs worse and worse because people get, oh, we're illegal, we get to use marijuana. Guess what? They get rid of it. They want to move to something else. That's why you have so much fucking people struggling with opioids, methamphetamines, heroin, and fentanyl because they made weed legal. People were like, oh, this is legal, could use it. Guess we get tired of it and move on to something else. Ever since they legalized recreational marijuana, other drugs became more and more of a problem.
You know what?
And I'm telling you, I've noticed it with my own eyes.
A part of that problem is education. Because, when you educate kids on drugs and you put marijuana in the same category as cocaine, even though one's a narcotic and one's not, you categorize them the same way without just being realistic to the kids and letting them know that there are different levels, and this is something, these are the side effects for this is the side effect for that, and there's a big difference between them. The problem is when a child doesn't know, like marijuana is equal to heroin in their eyes. So a drug is a drug is a drug. So if you try marijuana one night because everyone's trying marijuana, now you're in a totally different crowd, a much smaller crowd that there's not a big population of, but they happen to be doing heroin. Instead of you going, oh my God, drugs. No, I'm not into that. There's a big difference is what I'm saying. So they need to be educated on this stuff and see what it does to people. And, there is truth to, you do become who you associate with and spend a lot of time around. So, it's got to be cleaned up in some of these cities in the first place, it's just gotten so out of hand. And they don't look at it like they used to before, but they should, because, that's another problem. We need more law enforcement, and that would help every single thing that we talk about as well on here. We don't need to defund the fucking police. We need to double the police. And you know what? Take it out of my taxes and give them all a fucking well-deserved raise of like 25%. And I'm not kidding. That's how I'll sign a fucking bill for that.
I'll do it. Just wait.
Any day of the week.
Alcohol use disorder in the U.S. adolescents is 414,000 from the ages 12 to 17 in 2019.
That's sad. Seriously. Because that's when life-altering things happen in that time frame with a child. And when you throw in alcohol, it's just like you were talking about with deaths, okay? Little sidebar. You were talking about deaths. You were saying you could die like this, you could die like that, you could die like... And I was thinking to myself, you could pretty much die any other way that you normally would die, but your chances are just far fucking greater when you're drunk. So if you're talking about walking across a street, you could die, sure. but try doing it drunk, your chances probably triple. So
Oh, of
it's
course.
the same thing. It's the same thing with these kids. They have no idea what they're getting involved in yet at that age, and it's scary. It really is, and some terrible things can happen. To the same analogy I made before, I mean, you throw in kids between 12 and 17 years of age, and alcohol involved when some of them are discovering puberty, and some of them aren't, and all different parenting and everything else. When you throw in drugs and alcohol, then you never know what's going to come out of it, and your chances of things coming out of it that aren't good go up drastically in those scenarios. I mean, life and death to possible rape. I mean, it could be anything, but all those things.
414,000.
It's horrible, man. It's horrible.
And alcohol use disorder, if you don't know, it's a huge symptom for you need a strong urge to drink alcohol. Like you just need to have it, like stress, depression. And we're talking about kids here. We're not talking about adults. We're talking about kids. We're talking about 12-year-olds to 17-year-old kids. And it really blows my mind that in 2019 alone, 414,000 kids struggled from alcohol use disorder. That is alarming. And I think that, I think the number one thing that leads to all that is this right here, bro. Read it.
It definitely has definitely has a good amount to do with it. Yes, it's important.
Because I can see where kids who are less fortunate that grow up in a really tough home that already have alcohol and drug family, when they see it when they're kids, it's already over. They're traumatized, and I think part of that is self. I think when you don't love yourself, you don't see yourself in that light that you matter. You feel like you don't matter. You feel like you just want to go away and be away from people that look at you because you don't love yourself. People, if you don't love yourself, people reflect that back to you. But if you love yourself and you don't care what people think about you, and you just go and be yourself and be authentic, then people are going to love you regardless because you're who you are. But I think there's some aid to that self-love, and it's about image. A lot of those kids that struggle don't have a good image. They don't wear the right clothes. They don't talk a certain way. They don't own a few things. They get judged for it by other kids. And that's what fuels them feel like they don't love themselves. They get pushed in that direction where kids don't love themselves, and they go and find that peace and that thrill in alcohol. Because when you drink, if you're someone who's got low self-esteem and you got no self-love, when you drink, you feel like you're the best person in the world. You feel like you matter. You feel like you belong. You feel like there's nothing that can stop you. You feel like you're on top of the world when you're drinking, especially if you don't have self-love and self-esteem. When you take these drugs in, it changes who you are. It changes who you are. And it makes kids feel empowered. It makes them feel like they matter. It makes them feel like they're someone. That's what, I think is really fueling the surge in alcohol use in adolescence in these times, and these kids. And it doesn't help when their parents drink and, do it at a young age, because 98% of those kids are going to end up trying it anyway. It's plain and simple, but
it doesn't help when the kids are locked up and they can't go to school and they have no normal life anymore either. And, I mean, when no one's happy in the whole country, there's going to be a lot of drug use. There's going to be a lot more alcohol consumed. It's just the way human beings are. I mean, when you have your job taken away and your livelihood or your own restaurant that you worked your whole life to have, and all of a sudden it's over because of this COVID bullshit. Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, just think about it, bro. I mean, there's been so many people's lives that have just been turned upside down. So, and again, not to sound like a broken record, but I'm telling you, it goes back to the administration. Not everything, but I'm telling you, a lot of it does. It certainly does. And
but like, if you're a kid,
if I was a kid right now and I was going to school every day, if I was a boy or a girl looking at a girl or a boy,
what if you're getting bullied? What if you're getting bullied and called names?
Listen, you get to know people in school. It's a part of your world. That's a part of your self-esteem. When you see your friends and they're like, "Oh, what up, man? Oh, I like your hat. Whoa." You know what I mean? All that was taken away. Now they're freaking locked up and quarantined. And if they even are seen in public, they have to wear this stupid mask that has been proven to do nothing against the COVID virus. But it's all political bullshit. Who the fuck would
I'm talking about kids getting bullied in school has something to do with it, though. Because schools are open now.
Yeah,
and kids that have low self-esteem are more...
Hey, some places... Hey, bro, you got to hear this one. This is a sidebar, but you have got to hear this. All right. Oh, Jesus. I can't even... Oh, God, what is it? Oh, in California, right? There's a county in California where there's a mask mandate, okay? This is a true factual story. If anyone's listening, there is a mask mandate. If you are inside of your own home, you have to wear a mask by law. Oh, and people want to talk about the fear of socialism. I've been saying it's fucking communism, not socialism. So that's where America's headed. It's a true story. No, not capitalism. Capitalism is what we need. Communism. That's what it is.
What it really is, it's a disease, man. Alcoholism is a disease. People don't realize that the disease is addiction. Oh, I know, but I'm saying, going back to the alcohol, I agree with you, but I'm just saying,
it is a disease. And I for one am an alcoholic. I haven't drank since December 8th of 1992, and God willing, I choose not to drink today. So I'm very grateful for that. I would not have anything in my world or my life, I believe, had I not quit drinking. And I lived a very scary life, and it was total insanity nonstop. And I used drugs as well as drank, but alcohol was definitely my drug of choice. And it's all right. Put it this way: when I was young, I just told you that, drugs were around too. I tried some drugs, some pretty heavy duty drugs, but for me personally, alcohol was the furthest I ever got away from reality on any other drug in my entire life. And that's what happened to me. I did stupid things that I normally wouldn't do. I got 3 DWIs in a matter of 3 months. And the last night I drank, I was pulled over doing like 120 something miles an hour. And that was the last night. I woke up in the morning, I pissed on my own pants, and I was I was pathetic, and I freaking knew it. And I said, you know what? I cannot go through this lifestyle anymore. And I just, got involved in the right things and went and saw the right people, and, every day I had to, take care of myself and make sure that I was okay. And I loved myself, like you said before. I loved myself again. And once I knew that everything was okay after I removed that alcohol and after I got through all the withdrawals and the freaking nightmares and everything else that went along with the early stage of recovery, um, it got easier and easier and easier. And then as time went on, it became more normal not to be drunk than it was to be normal drunk. And it was the biggest, most difficult thing I ever had to face in my life. And I'm grateful that I got through it. But yeah, it's a scary drug.
Bro, yeah. I was actually going to tell you to wait for that because I want to hear more about it. We'll go into more detail, but in the U.S., the number of children living with a parent or a legal guardian with alcohol use disorder was 8.5 million going back to 2017. 8.5 million children living with a parent or guardian that suffers with AUD, alcohol use disorder, or alcoholism. That is a high number if you ask me, bro. That's children we're talking, 8.5 million.
So you got a huge amount.
I don't know what to say.
It's sad. It's sad. But you know what? It's like you have, in my personal opinion, you have, alcoholics, and then you have people that maybe abuse alcohol. But, if life is not going well, there's going to be more alcohol abuse in general. Like I said, this is my opinion. I'm not a doctor, but I mean, it's common sense to me. If there's not much to look forward to and things aren't going well, there's going to be a lot more alcohol consumption and deaths and suicides and everything else. So a lot of that, has a lot to do with other stuff too. And yeah, that's how I feel on that.
I think that's too high, and I think that, that's where a lot of the problems start. Is where to grow up in an alcoholic family are more likely to suffer from the same thing just because they've been around and traumatized by it. And, a lot of those kids didn't deserve that. A lot of those kids didn't deserve to be raised in a family like that. But, I'm not going to sit here and say those are bad parents. Those parents ain't bad. Those parents ain't bad. Let me tell you why. Nobody's perfect. Those parents are not bad parents. Take the alcohol away, they're probably good parents, loving parents. But them two, they probably suffered from their parents drinking. It's a cycle, and I think that's why I say alcoholic families get judged because they're stupid parents. They don't care about their kids. All they do is drink. They're not stupid parents, and they're not. They're who they're portrayed to be by some so-called perfect. But in a perfect world, people, judge them because that's how people are programmed. People are programmed to look at someone who's struggling from alcohol, a parent who's trying to take care of their kids and struggling with alcohol at the same time, is portrayed to be a bad parent when they're not. They're just struggling with the addiction, with the disease. And they get a bad rap, and I'm not sitting here sticking up for them, but I'm just sitting here saying, you need to loosen up a little bit. What they're doing is wrong. They're making the wrong choice because then they don't realize when their kids see them drinking, their kids are 98% chance. They have a 90% chance to suffer from the same thing, the same usage rate. And I'm just saying, what do you think? I mean, I think the parents are not bad parents. I just think they're just making bad choices.
Well, first of all, alcoholism is hereditary. And contrary to many people's beliefs, you can't drink yourself into alcoholism. You're either an alcoholic or you're not. So If you're not an alcoholic, you could drink every day for the rest of your life and you're still not an alcoholic. It's not like your amount of consumption or anything like that. But what I will say going to these parents, but obviously I'm not taking away the bad influence with the children in these homes, whether they are, hereditarily alcoholics or not. It's horrible. Kids should not see that kind of environment and surroundings. They shouldn't have to see that, and it will affect their decisions in life. There's no doubt about it. But the problem with these parents are, Sonny, they need to get the shit together, man, because we're talking about children. So if you have a problem with alcohol, then you need to address that problem. I mean, how can you be there for your children when you can't even take care of your own self? And yet no one's perfect, but you know what? When it comes to parenting, bro, there are no excuses. Whether you signed up for it or it happened by mistake or whatever, if you're a parent, man, you're a parent. And quite frankly, that's like, to me, the biggest, most important responsibility that anyone could have on this planet. And I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's also the biggest blessing and really an awesome thing. And I respect a good parent more than anyone on the planet. That simple. I just do. Male or female. You know what? Kids are awesome. And if you steer them, if you care enough to just steer them in the right direction, I'm not saying care enough to give them what they want and try to always make them happy. Good parents mean structured, discipline, backed with love. And lots of education in any category that they have interest in, because that's what they need. They need answers, and better yet, that they come from you. And the other important thing is, if you are a parent, don't forget, if you have a friend that's like not that cool, you don't want them around your kid, then that's not the kind of shit you want around your kid. Because like I said, if they know your buddy's drinking and driving, they're going to look at it like it's something normal to them. And it's scary. You don't think about how much these kids take in, but they do. They take it all in, man. And like I said, I respect a parent more than anyone on the planet. So it's not an easy job either. I definitely speak from experience. And no one's perfect, no matter what or who you are. But alcohol, it's very serious, and it's good to always talk to your kids, in my opinion, about all that stuff. But alcohol, absolutely. And know your kids. If your kids aren't happy, find out why. And we could avoid them turning down some of these paths that lead to some pretty dark corners, because it's not happy because you got them the new PlayStation game. It's the happiness within inside that you were referring to earlier, bro. And that's what you need to have, and that's what everyone needs to know. Like, is your happiness tank full? I know that sounds corny or whatever, but it's true, because that's where a lot of these things can be avoided from the beginning. And that's my thoughts.
Be a bucket filler, instead of taking a bucket of water out, be a bucket, fill someone else's bucket. Like, you make them feel better. And going back to that point, alcohol deaths each year is a factor of thousands of young people younger than the age of 21. These include 1,092 motor vehicle crashes, 1,000 from homicides, 208 from overdose, falls and people drowning, and 596 from suicides. It's a real matter. People die from alcohol in so many ways, and like I said before, it's all about self-love. It's about self-esteem. And these people, every single one of these people that died from it, probably didn't have a good life growing up. And that's what's wrong with the American people is people always worry about image. It's always about image. If this person doesn't look good, then they don't matter because that's how you're programmed to think. You're influenced by social media. You're influenced by TV. You're influenced by music. You're influenced by TV shows and videos, movies. Everyone plays it in, like has an influence on the way people think, and that are programmed to think. And I bet you that people that struggle with alcohol probably weren't happy, with themselves. Even if they, there's some people that have everything and still struggle with it because they're not happy with them. I know some people that have a lot of money that struggle with it and, died from it because they weren't themselves. People tend to look at a book and don't ever judge a book by it. But if you really think about it, image is everything now. I mean, there's so many people that commit suicide because of image, and being bullied in school is another bully in general. There's adults that bully other adults, but I think people nowadays is forgetting how to love each other, forgetting how to respect each other. Nowadays, it's all about image. It's all about what you have or don't have, or But in reality, what image? What does image mean? We're only here for a short time, bro. Before we leave, what what's the image? Why do people have to have an image to be liked? Why do people have to have an image?
It's a superficial self-esteem. So, it's funny because I've always said, no, I don't want to drive up. I don't want to drive up to a lean-to in a Maserati. I'd rather put my money in my house or something that's going to be, whatever, as opposed to just some superficial car or whatever. But everyone needs something for themselves, and I do think that there's a balance. I don't think there's anything wrong with a guy having to get a brand new truck or something, and as long as it's not way above and out of his means or something. But you know what? A lot of it is about that though, bro. It's like self-esteem, and for me, if my truck will get the job done, I'm happy with that truck. And but I gotta be honest. Like my truck, I dream to get it painted and all done up on the inside, and I do want it nice. And that is, I want to feel good about. I've earned that kind of stuff, So a lot of that to me is, I don't look at it as something bad, but when it's overdone, it can be lethal because, like you said, people have committed suicide over stuff like that, over, their neighbor getting the next model better car than they did, and they'll never live up to their neighbor, and they just let it get to themselves, and then they push themselves over that edge. So
yeah. What I think everyone wants is to be loved. Every single person wants to be loved and respected and accepted. I think that's the ultimate what people when a young kid goes to school, they want to respect it. They do, even if those kids that wake up every day and go to school that don't have a lot, are poor, that don't wear a cool style of clothing like another kid wears, they're gonna get bullied regardless of how they look. Or if a kid has crooked teeth, or they're fat, or they're skinny, or they have blonde hair or brown hair, or they're Asian, they're gonna get bullied because it's all about image. Even at a young age, people and kids in general want that power. There's some ego. There's some big egos at school, and I really, really, really wish that at some point it's not about image. It's not about what you have or don't have. It's about you're alive. I mean, we have become a materialist world where everything is materialistic, bro.
Yeah.
Everything is materialistic now. Kids take that to heart because they're influenced by the TV, like I said, by the TV. They're influenced by the music industry. All these industries are programming them to think the way they're thinking. It has spoiled their minds. It has spoiled the way they look at things. And now you got like you go to a Britney Spears concert. All those girls want to look like Britney Spears.
Well, it's parenting, bro. Honestly, there's always going to be like bad stuff out there, and it's parenting and educating your child. And I don't necessarily mean math or geometry. I mean just with bare basic, street smart education about, real life situations. When your parents taught you don't taste candy from a stranger, and well, times have changed. So those discussions need to happen, but they need to go far deeper than they used to. And, it's there's a lot more stuff out there to be concerned with than there was, 20 years ago.
But I think TV, music, and everything has influenced all that.
Absolutely.
And a new study shows that alcohol-related deaths doubled from 35,914 to 72,558 between 1999 to 2017. Yikes. That's a big jump.
Yeah.
That's a huge jump.
Yeah, it sure is, man. That's the.
That's a year. That's a year.
Well, that's pretty much the Obama years for the most of it.
Well, I want to drink politics and their addiction. I don't know. But in all seriousness, it has gone double.
Hey,
and
there is seriousness to what I was saying, even though.
Oh, I'm not. I
was trying to make you laugh.
There isn't.
But what I mean is, it truly does matter across the board like that. Like I said before, if you're not in a happy place, you're going to be looking elsewhere. And, if that's, I mean, I hate to go off topic, but, you brought up capitalism before. That's what capitalism is. Capitalism gives people something to look forward to and some goals to get. And the harder you work for these goals, the more you can achieve, and there's no ceiling on it. And that's what's great about capitalism, because it does the same things that we try to teach our children. If you fail the first time, get up and try again. Don't quit baseball. Just practice more. And that's yeah, little off topic, but you know what? It like I said before, it all goes to the same thing. Any problem, in my opinion, and not deliberately, but most every problem that comes up either stems to parenting or a current administration's policies. Honest to God, bro, it truly does. Like almost any single thing that we could bring up, to me, in my opinion, goes to administration and parenting. It truly does. And it's like, it's amazing, but I mean, I wholeheartedly mean that. I mean, really.
I agree with you. There's no disagreement there, but because of that, alcoholism rising, suicide deaths are rising. A lot of people are committing suicide because of alcohol, and I know a lot of people that have committed suicide that were drunk when they committed suicide.
Yeah.
And it's rising. It's rising, and it's, and, you know, causes
Yeah.
that lead to suicide are stress, self love, self esteem, getting bullied, trauma, loneliness, and depression. Do you agree with me on those?
I would have to, yes.
I think those are all that play a big part in, people committing suicide because, they're not self love. They don't have a self esteem because all that was bashed by somebody who was probably bullying them, then made them feel lonely because they didn't fit in, and then it leads to depression. And then you know what? They're tired of living. They just want to die. And sadly, that's
That's
what a lot of
that's
people
why
take.
that's why the parents need to have a relationship with their kids to where they know that something's going wrong. And then this kind of stuff could be avoided. Um, those numbers could get crushed if we had the kind of parents that we need in this country. Really, I mean, on a lot of these issues. And the problem is, um, we don't have parents to stay together anymore, and we don't have the same like core value
Because of
systems.
alcohol.
Well, sometimes,
Some
yeah.
of it. Yeah,
But
some
but
of
what
it.
I'm saying is, yeah. I mean, it's all there's many reasons, but it's just I mean, we don't have that many true families and family values, and it's just not the same as it used to be, and it's
Uh,
unfortunate because then the kids suffer because they might get their whatever PlayStation they get from one parent, and then they go see the other parent, and they get spoiled over there because they only see that parent on weekends, and they're not getting what they need. And neither of the parents know that child throughout, so that when something's up, they know it right away, and that
yeah.
that intuition is gone because there's not enough interaction anymore, and it's that's what isolates these kids, and they turn to these dark places rather than their own parents, and yeah. But I mean, this is, I mean,
I
I just, yeah, that's just my opinion.
I think that a lot of these could have been prevented. I honestly think that a lot of people that committed suicide could have been prevented in one way, shape, or form or another. And it's unfortunate that, it goes to start with parenting, as you're right. Parents got to realize, let their kids know that whenever there's something wrong, they need to speak up and tell the kid, hey, you need to tell the mom and dad, hey, I'm not having a good day. I got bullied at school. I got called names because kids don't want to feel that. As a matter of fact, kids should never, ever have to go through that. Kids should never, kids that attend school should never have to deal with bullying, being made fun of, picked on, zeroed out. They should never deal with that. They have every right to get an education just like everyone else. And sadly, it's not like that anymore. Kids nowadays get bullied more than ever. Kids nowadays get put down for what they wear or how they act or who their family members are. It's crazy. And kids shouldn't go to school. Kids go to school. I bet you at least 75% of the kids that go to school now are afraid
Oh
of what
yeah.
they're going to, like, I can't imagine going to school and thinking, oh, am I going to get picked on today? Like, I bet you there's some kids that don't even want to go to school because of that. And it's wrong. It's wrong on so many levels. Like, it's all about image now. And it's the wrong way to go and think. And these kids are getting programmed because of TV and music and video games and all the other stuff. But
But
I think it has, yeah, go ahead.
the parents, when the parents fall into those ridiculous traps, it ruins it. That's why you don't have to buy your kids the new fad just to let them fit in. Let them know that they don't need that bullshit to fit in. Let them know what a fad is. Let them know, just communicate with them and then compromise, So,
but they get picked on at school.
Right. But
how are we going to stop that?
That's why I said compromise. I mean, you don't want to send your kid into school with plaid jeans because more than likely your kid's going to get picked on, like you said, whether it's right or wrong. You don't want to send your kid in with a sweater, unfortunately, with a sweater, Christmas colors, and Rudolph on because he's going to get picked on. And it's sad, but it's true. So if the kid doesn't feel comfortable wearing something, then, even if you have budget issues or whatever, you need to take that more seriously than you think sometimes. And that could even, whatever, there's solutions. There's other options. It's not, you can't force a kid to go to school not feeling good about himself already. And, if he thinks that, his friends are going to make fun of the Rudolph the reindeer sweater, well, then don't make him wear it. Just little things like that. And
or if you're good at basketball and another kid's not good at basketball, how you think they're going to feel when they're the last one picked? Like, I don't want to pick that kid. I was that kid. Well, you know not what? All the time, but I was that kid. And I know the feeling of
that
being that last kid in line.
That comes down to overall school curriculum. Okay? They should never be in a situation where these kids pick and then there's a last person. Now, I'm not one of those people that says, oh, they're all winners, let's give them all trophies. No, I'm not that person at all. But let's get real here. We don't want to put our kids in those situations. For what reason? And then that's going to start judgment. And it's just not cool. What you need to do is, first of all, we need to get rid of the teachers union. I mean, this is like a crucial situation that needs to happen, but that's for a different topic, different time. But I'm telling you, it's brutal.
It's all about image now.
Right. But the problem is...
And kids want to be accepted, though. If they're not accepted, they get bullied, they're made fun of. The kid's not going to want to go to school. They're going to suffer.
The kids that aren't good at dodgeball probably don't want to play dodgeball. So why should that kid ever be put in a situation where he's forced to do something that he doesn't want to do and that he's not good at? And dodgeball, it could be anything. It could be baseball. But the problem is, but maybe that same kid would be interested in some kind of glue decoration art or something. I mean, I don't know. But there's all different. Maybe there's a video game club. All I'm saying is we need to focus on what their likes and what their interests are. And that doesn't mean video game club is horrible. I'm not a gamer or whatever these people call themselves, but the thing is, you can't just cut it out completely. That's why it's like anything with moderation is good for an adult for the most part. Let's keep it that way with our children when we're parenting. So if they like these crazy ass games, well, let them do it for maybe 2 hours a day or whatever time you feel is appropriate. But to just say, do whatever you want after your homework, that's not caring enough about which direction your kids are going in. And I don't know. I keep going back to that.
What about this?
I'm not trying to.
What about this? A kid goes to school, still wears the same clothes, but gets picked on because he's fat or he's skinny or they got blonde hair in a rural community. Right. How are you going to deal with that? Every kid should have a right to go to school, to be accepted, no matter how they look or dress or act or what they believe in. Kids should have a dream. When kids get picked on their dreams, they don't want to go to school. They get crying. How kids don't want to feel that. Kids don't want to hurt. Kids go to school to learn, not to get their feelings hurt. Kids go to school to learn about everything, but yet it happens in all schools, kids get bullied because of how they look, act, or how they talk, or how they look, their clothes. It doesn't matter.
Well,
They're still gonna get picked on, and it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong.
well, first of all, if we had more solid parenting, there would be a lot less bullies because they would know better. But so the thing is, man, so for the fat kid that goes to school, that's the other thing. The parents need to know what's going on, and there does need to be like guidance counselors in school, and you know, the school system needs to understand that the child that needs to go to that guidance counselor is going to be the last person you ever hear it from. That's why parent interaction, which is so necessary, and they're fighting right now, but it is so necessary because then the parent can communicate with the school system. Hey, look, my son, he has a few extra pounds on him. He thinks he's obese. He gets picked on. He has low self-esteem. I just want to let everyone know this, and basically, at least he'll have a better chance, and he'll be put in situations that can help him succeed in what he's actually there for, and that's to learn. So whatever the case or the solution may be, that's what needs to happen. There needs to be communication across the board, and maybe certain kids that come from those situations, they need to have a self-esteem class, and who knows? I mean, I'm just saying there are things that need to be done, and changes need to be made, and not the kind of changes that are trying to be forced on America right now, but changes that just come from the heart and the soul, and the real, like, traditional family and traditional, like, you know family, and most of the time that family starts out with number one, which in many families is God. So all of that means so much to each individual kid in any situation, because whether your kid is going to be a football star or some nerd that designs a computer program and gets picked on in school, or whatever the case scenario is, the best thing that could possibly happen, they're all going to get picked on in some way in life, is my point. But we need to, like, a lot of these things can be really helped before it ever becomes something that they won't be able to know how to deal with. And that's through, caring school systems that are like interaction with the parents, because they want to be. And school, when I grew up and I was in school, I mean, I loved all my teachers, and I knew that my teachers were there because they loved kids. I have always respected teachers, like high respect, even as a young kid, always. And I always knew that, they don't make as much as other people, and they make sacrifices because they actually love children, and they love making a difference for the future. And I always understood that. Both my parents were teachers, by the way, but I don't think that I would have ever felt differently on that subject anyway. And I also feel the same way about law enforcement and any other real public service that is there, that cares enough to do that job and to do it right. Of course, we have some sour apples or bad eggs in the mix, but overall, man, cops, teachers, nurses, doctors, I mean, these are beautiful people.
Counselors.
They are, exactly. Teachers, it's the same category. They're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. I mean, they are, and amen to them. Unfortunately, a lot of them are losing their jobs, or they have to resign because they don't want to take the vaccine, and it's being forced upon them by the government. But that's a different topic.
we want to let you kids know, and adults out there that are struggling with alcohol and drugs, that you're not alone. You may feel like you're alone, but you're not alone. And there's numerous places. If you got a problem and you're struggling with it and you want to get help, seek that help and look for that help. There's detox places, places where you can go to heal and overcome.
If you're out there and you need help for real, just hit one of the tabs on the thing and send us a note, and we'll get you some help.
Exactly. You're not alone, and we want this is the reason why we have this show. This is not just about politics. It's about life. It's about doing the right thing and guiding people the right way. And we both have our own opinions, yeah. But at the end of the day, man, I like it. Like we go butt heads about politics and all. At the end of the day, we're here to spread our love and our energy with the rest of the world, and that's why we're doing stuff like this. To help people that maybe that struggle and come across this video. I hope that we come across someone that's got an addiction problem that sees this video and says, hey, you know what? And Slicky, we're right. I am not alone. I'm gonna go seek help. Yeah.
Get through it.
And you have to, before you can get yourself clean and heal, is you have to tell yourself that you have a problem. If you don't do that, then you're not gonna get through that. But that goes on to my subject, is my thoughts and my experience, my struggles with alcohol and drugs. And I had my share of them. With drugs, I experienced with cocaine, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed to say that I struggle with alcohol. But let me tell you why I struggle with alcohol. It's because I felt like there was a loneliness inside of me, bro. Like there was an empty piece missing from me. Like it led me to like just not being accepted really when I was a kid. I just didn't feel like I fit in. Of course I was, fat, but at the same time, I still didn't feel like I fit in. And when I started using alcohol and drugs, it made me feel like I was someone different, like I mattered, like things that I, would have never done. Drinking alcohol would make me want to go like talk to girls or, try to fit in. It's all I want to do is fit in. And, and a lot of it did with trauma and, the things I have experienced in my life, the many painful moments in my life. There's a lot of dark moments in my life, but, I'm not going to sit here and create a sob story, but, I've had my experience with it, and I know that it is to overcome this codependency, because there's a lot, when I struggle with it, I struggle because of loneliness. I felt like I was so alone, like I didn't have that, that feeling of wholeness within me. I didn't have that feeling of being accepted by my peers, and I just felt like, like that's when I drank, I felt like I mattered. I felt like I was someone. But in all reality, if I didn't experience what I experienced with all that, I wouldn't be the person I am today. But, I'm not ashamed of who I was in the past. I'm just grateful that I'm still alive, and it's by the grace of God that I got through what I got through. And there's a lot of people out there that are hurting, that are struggling with addiction and, struggling with, not being loved or loneliness, depression, all these things that are happening. I experience all that. And I think that when you realize that you're not alone and, you go through things in life, everything happens for a reason. And we all learn from our mistakes. And people that struggle with addiction, that struggle with alcoholism, I got family. I got family that struggle with it, that have struggled with it. And I got friends that struggle with it. And, it's sad to see them go through it, especially like, and there's some family members that have gone through it, that were the worst alcoholics you could ever think of, and, have gotten through it and overcame, became great people. And, it's but my own experiences with it is just like, I just felt like I was lonely all the time, and I felt like I didn't matter. Like that's what drove me to use it. You know, getting bullied in school. I had a couple of people that I was bullied me and like about me and beat me up all the time. But you know, I'm not gonna blame that. I don't condemn them because had I not gone through what I gone through, you know, I wouldn't be the person I am sitting in this room today. And I could look back, not ashamed, but I could look back and say, you know what, I experienced all that. You know, I'm happy with where I'm at, and it's by the grace of God that I'm here. And you know, we all want to be loved, we all want to be accepted. But you know, that's how the world should be. Is instead of hating each other, instead of picking on each other, let's shed some love to one another, regardless of what you believe, regardless of what you think or where or what you live, what you have, don't have it. Throw all that out because when we leave this world, we ain't taking any. We're not even taking our bodies, our soul, live forever. And why spend life worried about materialistic and things of value when in the next life we ain't taking anything with us? So in your life, if you have a problem, deal with it. Seek help. It's never too late to seek help. Seek guidance from someone that's gone through it. I think the best counselors are the people that have gone through it, that experience the highs, and the lows of the lows of alcohol and drugs, because they know what it takes. They know exactly what it takes. One, to hit rock bottom, and two, to overcome. It's not easy by any means. And like that I struggle with for the longest of time, especially with dope, is the temptation was always there. Like I had I had family that smoked it, so like I always wanted to smoke it, and I had my friends that smoked it, so I always wanted to smoke it.
Hey,
now
wait,
it's legal, and
when
I
you
don't even
say
use it.
when you say dope, are you referring to marijuana or
Yes,
okay?
marijuana.
Because
But
sometimes
I'm
people
just saying
refer.
because that's the one drug I really struggle with, bro. Dope is
Yeah.
marijuana was,
Well,
and I
but a
loved.
lot
I'm not gonna lie. I loved it.
but a lot of people refer to heroin as dope. That's why I was asking.
And okay, that's my thoughts. Now I want to hear your thoughts. You got 2 minutes. Fill me in. Fill the people coffee, and on your thoughts, your experiences on this podcast, your life experiences. Let's finish off on a high note, bro.
Well,
Floor is yours.
the high note will be at the end of it, then I guess. But yeah, I battled with alcohol and drugs, and all I wanted to do was party, and I was trying to basically cover up other emotions, really. But I did. I was pretty. I drank a real lot of alcohol, and every single day there wasn't a day I was sober. Um, I smoked marijuana on a daily basis. Um, I definitely had my share with cocaine for a short period of time, and then
Really? You had cocaine? Really?
oh, absolutely, brother. Um, but and then cocaine was weird for me because and I at that point I had tried LSD and different things like that, but cocaine, I got addicted to cocaine so fast, and I loved it so much. It scared the living hell out of me. So,
In what way?
and I really did. I mean, I was using it all the time, and it got to the point where I was smoking it, and then I basically said, "Enough is enough," because it scared the shit out of me. And then I just went back to my, nonstop drinking, and I mean, I drank an awful lot of alcohol every single day, and I wasn't happy. And it took a lot of hard work. And for me to just admit that I was powerless over alcohol, um, you know, and then get help. And that's what I needed to do. And then as soon as I did, things got better. The problem is a lot of people will stop and things will get better for a few months. And then they'll just say, oh, well, just once in a while. Like for me, I can't have one drink ever. So for me, if I have one drink, I'm going to go right back to the drinking full time every day. So I can't afford to just have one drink. I just, there's no way I could do it. I would just turn right back into that alcoholic that drank nonstop every single moment he was awake. And I'm very glad that I'm not that person anymore. I don't think I'd be alive still if I hadn't gotten alcohol out of my life. But now the other side of alcohol is I personally don't have a problem with it. It's removed from my life since 92. And I have alcoholic beverages in my refrigerator and my pantry for guests. But I'm fortunate that, it's been such a long period of time that, I'm fine with it. My ex-wife, who is also an amazing person and a dear friend of mine, she used to drink wine and everything. It never bothered me. And if it did, she was so understanding that she would have either, not done it or, not when I was around or something. But it never came to that because I never one time had a problem with it. Of course, I wasn't a wine drinker either. But anyways, that's about it. I'm rambling on now. So I'm going to close it out there.
Oh, that was interesting to hear that you had struggled with cocaine. I mean, you were scared of it and everything. I didn't know that about you.
It terrified me.
I said, we're here, we're getting to know each other, and it's a blessing to do this podcast with you. And I think that if we could do what we got to do, I think we'll go somewhere. But even regardless, just sitting here and having a conversation with you, addiction is amazing. And there's people out there that I hope benefit from this video, that come across and be, you know what, those guys really influenced me. I need to get the help that I need to get help. And that way, because we need more people to live, man. We need people to live. Yeah, we need people to live. We need people to real.
There's so many people that have battled with one form of addiction or another. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, you could lose everything, and you're still going to be fine. You just got to get back to you first. And the only way to do that is to eliminate all the things that are taken away from who you are as a person. And, if you have a good heart inside, then everything else is just eating away at it. So get rid of that shit and focus on yourself and, reach out to people and, seek help if you need to. But you got to, find a way to be content and happy with who you are. And no one's perfect, but, it matters. It matters that in general, you personally choose to be happy, because a lot of happiness, the majority of happiness, comes from within, and it's a choice that we all make. And if someone's unhappy, to a large degree, they're choosing to be unhappy. I mean, they might have just, who knows what could have happened to them. They might have just been, their car was stolen, and then someone blew it up in front of them. And then someone, said some horrible things about them. It's irrelevant, So, hey.
Say hi, Gio. Say hi, Uncle Slicky. Say hi, Uncle Slicky. It's a girl. Her name's Gio. Her name is Gio.
Cute. She's cute.
Little angel.
Well, listen, man.
Say hi to Slicky.
Slicky's got to get some sleep, brother.
Hey, again, for taking the time. I know we went way over past our we always do. But take time. Thank you those people that listen. Remember, please subscribe um to the YouTube
Cold
channel
coffee.
Cold Coffee. We're always here. We hit the like button. Actually, you know what? Not like button. Hank Aaron home run. Hit that like button. We're Cold Coffee. We're here all the time. We'll be back again on Saturday.
Yeah.
Back on Saturday with another show. Stay tuned for that. And to those of you that tuned in, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for staying up and spending time with me. You're always a champion. You'll always be a champion. And happy Thanksgiving to all you and your family,
yes.
and to everyone who's out there. We hope that you have a safe Thanksgiving, that with family and celebrate family, because that's be thankful.
Amen to that. I think we lost Sonny temporarily, but good night, everyone. Have a safe holiday. And if you're going to drink, just don't drive. And wish everyone a safe
Wish you a safe,
Thanksgiving.
prosperous Thanksgiving. And Slicky Boom, always a pleasure, bro.
All righty. Take care, everyone.
Peace out, bro. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving, people.